We live, by the way, folks.
Hey, everybody!
Yeah.
So you say, was this off?
Y'all, this thing guys be trying to sneak and record y'all.
Yeah,
No, that don't happen. I don't do that. No, man, I tell you. Now, if you ain't hear me, that's on you. Yeah, I can say it. If you ain't hear me, that ain't on me.
That's that.
Yeah, I tell you, be like, oh, good, yeah, see the video right here. Let me share it right quick.
Right there.
Yeah.
You see, they been on it.
Gail, you bringing us in today? All right. Let me share. She.
Travis, what you doing?
I could tether off mine.
Oh.
All right.
Is that bad?
I mean,
All right.
because of the door and all that shit.
Am I going? Yeah, it is.
Is it on? Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yes. 1, 2, 1, 2. I can see my reading. Travis, say something in the mic.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. We are a part of the W2E STC. Stop it, Gail! Podcast.
All right, Gail. So whenever you're ready, you can bring it in. Tell people to tune in.
All right, cool. So let's start?
Yeah, man. Go on.
Okay. Good day, and welcome back to the Entrepreneur to Entrepreneur podcast. One of the best podcasts you will ever listen to. We'd like to thank you very much for joining us today. And we have a scorching hot topic for you all today, boy.
Scorching.
I like to shout out Twitter.com, especially the 242 followers. I think Makara and one other person I tweeted about this earlier this week.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, and it
Really?
inspired. Yeah, man.
Okay. Sorry.
If you're not on Twitter, like get on Twitter. On Twitter, you get all the news before everybody else. You get the memes 3 to 5 days before Facebook.
Lay meat and
3 to
potatoes.
5 days.
Before Facebook, yes, sir.
Wow, okay.
Guaranteed.
Okay.
So you will be in the know as it's happening on Twitter. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that today.
No.
And so, as mentioned, based on tweets from this week, basically the tweet said, "Is everybody going to be an MUA?"
What is that?
That is a makeup artist. So you have people that have created profiles and all these other things, and everybody apparently has decided to become a makeup artist.
Really?
And not saying that anything is necessarily wrong with that, but we wanted to discuss today this carbon copy society that we're in, generally speaking. Just basically somebody has an idea, and then all of a sudden somebody else coincidentally has the same idea. And I guess we could explore everything that has to do with that. Everything with carbon copies and, so
Copycats, basically.
Copycats. My best example is when people were selling phone cards, I think.
Okay.
BGC phone cards. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Well, I have a
is on
good
the road.
It
example.
was so long ago. It was
long ago, but it was interesting to see that one person may have profited from selling phone cards on the side of the road because that was innovative in the sense that nobody else was doing it here.
Yeah.
And then, maybe a month or two after that, it seemed like there was 2 to 3 phone card vendors maybe on every corner. I think a lot of them had in the Stop Liking Man video, they had the guy come up next to him and flash the cards and be like, 3 for $5 or whatever. So
My sale,
yeah. So basically today we're just gonna discuss carbon copies and people mimicking people, not necessarily because they're talented or they have an idea of what it is that they want to do, but because they see you making money doing it, they decide that they are going to do it as well.
Yes.
So
Lack of originality.
carbon copies, lack of originality. Of course, everybody is sharing, so we encourage you now to share the video,
Yes.
like and
Please.
comment.
Please.
And thank you very much for joining us. And
Copy that link.
Yeah. How about
Copy
that?
that link and share that link.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that?
How about that? Yeah.
And that kind of goes into it too in terms of the meme culture and people copying different memes and doing stuff like that. I personally, I feel.
You have two minds about it.
Yeah, I have 2 minds about it because copying to the complete sense of doing something exactly the same way as someone else could get boring, and you could be like, okay, yeah, that's a hack. But at the same token, what are we really honestly doing completely unique? right? Like we draw inspiration from a lot of different things. They said, Picasso, Pablo, whatever. He took a lot of different things from a lot of different artists, but he eventually made it his own.
Right.
And a great book that I read that kind of highlighted that, it was this book by artist Cleon. Is it Avant or something? Austin Cleon. And it's called Steal Like an Artist. And basically what the book premises on is that for people who don't can't find inspiration or don't know what they want to do, is like there are models and people who have done it before. Just look at how they've done it and kind of make your own thing. But that's the key thing, making it your own thing.
Right.
People who do the carbon copy and just be like, oh, that's great, I'm going to do that exact same thing as well. That's bound to happen because you have most people that can't really innovate like that.
Yeah, but then let's take it a step further because, okay, let's say you and Greg are in, let's say you both decide to do makeup, right? I love it. So, Greg is doing makeup first.
Actually, we talked about it
just now, right?
So this is the follow-up. I was going to start a makeup company before, yeah.
Okay, so...
Is that an episode 32.5 or something?
Like you were going to do it or you were going to make the makeup? Anyway, never mind. So, so let's say Greg is an MUA, makeup artist, and his specialty is wingtipped eyeliner, right? And then Travis comes along and decides that he's going to be a makeup artist and his specialty is going to be wingtipped eyeliner because that's what Greg is making money from. So it's not that both of you are makeup artists and Greg likes to do eyeliner, Travis prefers, eyeshadow, whatever. But the fact that you look at Greg doing his thing, you may not even be interested in his industry. You may not even be interested in makeup. You may not even be talented, or your passion may not be there. But because you see him flourishing,
ride the wave.
You decide, you know what, I'm going to do this too.
You know what I think a good example is? The 99-cent breakfast.
Yeah, that was good too.
Yes, yeah.
First
that was
started,
epidemic. That was a big epidemic.
99-cent breakfast stall.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you had a 99-cent breakfast stall on every corner.
Yep.
So I look at that as a good example. And what I think it is just people. I think people have ideas, but they are scared to execute on certain things. And so, especially Bahamians, so they need to see someone do it first. They need someone else to go off of that ledge and be able to not drop to their death. And when they see people jump off and they ascend, they're like, oh, okay, well, I could do that too.
Well, no, that's for people who wait and who actually be like, okay, let me see what happened. But you have some people like go in, they will say, oh, that's how, because they see a demand. They'd be like, oh, this person makes
that's
this
what
money.
I'm talking about.
Let me hop in.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, and it doesn't even have to be. They had that idea.
Right.
It doesn't have to be that specific idea. But they want to do certain things, but they don't really want to actually go full force and take that chance.
Yeah.
So they need somebody else to go out there and prove that this thing could work, and then they want to do it. And then you also have the opportunists who just, like you said, they never thought about that or had any interest in it, but they see somebody making money in a certain field, and they're like, well, geez, let me capitalize on that too.
Yeah.
Let me take advantage of this new market or this new niche that they have carved out.
Yeah.
Let me just jump on this. So a lot of people don't want to take that time to build, their own business or build something for themselves. They just want to take advantage of what other people have already built.
Now,
ride that wave.
Well,
go ahead. No, you go.
Well, how do you feel? 1, 2, 3, go.
That's so stupid.
Damn it.
All right.
Okay,
So, how do you feel about like people coming along? I guess, and like you said, they don't have any interest in it, right? But then they decide to do it. Like how you sell cookies.
Right.
Let's say somebody tried to mimic your exact business model. How do you then feel like as an entrepreneur personally to say, okay, this person is trying to do exactly what I do? I mean, down to packaging and delivery, everything.
I feel flattered.
Yeah?
Imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Okay.
So I feel flattered. And what it is look at Travis looking a little confused there. Travis is like, hold on now.
No. I agree. But it's like...
No, you gotta... Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Okay. As if you are... Normally, the person that starts it, the originator, usually benefits the most. Because they got in there first. They got in the market first. And it depends. If they scale fast enough, then, they'll be good. So, and a lot of people are loyal to brand. Right? They don't want the carbon copy. They don't want the knockoff. And let's say the knockoff can provide just about as good a product or service with a lot cheaper price. People tend to be loyal to the original, the original, the brand that they fell in love with at first. So the carbon copy has to work hard to try and pry away from that original person. They have to do something
Different.
to get those people. You understand? They're not just going to open up and then all the people, oh, there's another one. Let me go to this one. No. People tend to be loyal to brands in most cases.
Yeah.
Not all cases, but in most cases, they tend to be loyal to brands. So if somebody was to start up, you could try and do it as much, the way I do it, you could try. But I could guarantee you ain't going to do it the same. So I ain't worrying about that. Now, I ain't saying I could be naive and oblivious and just ignore you.
Right.
You know, understand? I'll pay attention to certain things, but I'm not concerned with you, and I'm not going to try and mold my entire business based on what you do. I'm going to make you adjust to me.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to be reactive. You're going to make your adjustments to me. You understand? So but I'm going to pay attention. I'm not just going to completely ignore it. So I'm not concerned about that.
Okay.
You can't be in business. You can't be concerned about competition because business is a competition 24/7.
We probably need to discuss that in another episode as well.
But that's,
how about you, Travis?
But I mean, that's a good segue to it. It's like, okay, if you're doing something great and you're serving you're solving a problem and there's a market, people are going to come into it.
Right.
And it'd be like, oh, if people going to like carbon copy, so what, babe? That means you have to either think about your business differently or stay above the game and figure like it will happen. It's an inevitability.
Yeah, it's gonna
especially if you're doing things. It's gonna happen. People are going to copy it. Like there's a lot of people designing websites out there. Some better than me, some not better than me.
Right.
But we're probably most not better.
Shameless plug.
But that forces me to stay on my feet because on the other end is that the people that I'm watching are saying like, oh, they're putting out good stuff. It's like, okay, I gotta I gotta develop my thing.
Yeah.
And at the same token, I look back at the people who are doing this, the people who actually want to get into it and actually make a business out of it. They come in to take the crown. So it's like, how do I stay on top of those type of things? That's for the people who want to innovate. Now the people who don't want to innovate and feel like, oh, I do websites too.
Yeah.
And they just do there. More times than not, what I find, especially locally, is that your people said they jump into deep waters without realizing how much work it is.
Yes.
Because you could throw up a WordPress site or you could throw up a Squarespace site in X, Y, and Z. But when I get to the real technical level, it's on me to stay up to really keep punching the things. And for the people that I admire who's doing that, you could kind of say that I'm trying to copy them as well, or copy rather their methodologies. Like it's because of those people better than me.
Right.
I try to stay up with trends or how people are doing things and kind of see like either what I need to learn or how I need to do things differently. So it's a pro and con.
So what about a comment earlier that people, you as an entrepreneur, you kind of battle with sharing knowledge and sharing exactly what you know in your craft, and then you have people that come and ask you, maybe Travis or Greg, like how you make your cookies or how do you do this, right? And then they,
that all the time.
and then let's say you show them, right? Let's say you as an expert, let's say an expert in the field, in your respective fields, right? You show them or you provide some knowledge, and then you see that they go and essentially try to mimic you or try to do the same thing. Like, how do you react in that type of situation?
More power. I give them advice. I help out.
You still help out?
I still help out.
I
never lie. No, anybody. There's a lot of.
He never lies.
No, I mean, I will not say that. But no, there are a lot of designers, developers that reach out to me asking X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I'm glad to do that because it allows me to listen to what exactly that they need to do, like the problems that they're trying to solve, and be like, this comes up frequently that people are asking for this stuff, and it kind of is helping me to learn. And it's more power. It's like especially when it comes to, I've never ran into somebody asking me for advice that I had to directly compete with, at least not yet.
All right.
So the people that ask me for the advice, I'm happy to because more times
Share
than
that
not,
with them.
it's just share that with them because more times than not, I learned it myself, and that's kind of how you keep it going. And at the same token too, it makes me more knowledgeable about what's going on, what's possible and what's not possible. Because if someone comes to me, like if someone asks me about advice of a website, right, trying to get started or to copy or whatever, and if I hear something interesting, like, I'll research it myself. And once I learn it, now I know it and I can provide value to other people that are doing it. So I never close it out. But it isn't, it's a different game than copying a recipe piece by piece.
Right.
And that's what I say. It depends. It depends on what industry you're in, what you're doing, and what your objective is. You understand? Because Colonel them ain't give away their secret yet.
The 11 herbs and spices.
Colonel ain't give away their secret yet.
Yeah.
Certain fast food chains or food chains do not give out their secrets, and it's for a reason, right? My thing is, people have asked me many times. I had my family cousin ask me,
I just make them
"Oh, I ain't telling you, right?"
I just make them cookie bake.
Because my thing is, listen. Let me at least scale my business first, and then maybe we can consider. Because let's say you go to somebody, now, not that I ain't confident in what I'm doing, but let's say, okay, you go to somebody who have some money. Right? And means they got that money to do things a lot faster than I could currently do them. And you go ahead and scale and just squash me out of the market, right?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be wise for me to do at this point. So I tell you, let me scale first, and then maybe, down the line we could consider. And why I say it all depends on what you're trying to accomplish is because Elon Musk, with Tesla,
open source and stuff.
He gave them the blueprint for the battery that they have in their vehicles, how they make them and how they operate and all of that. But because I think what Elon Musk's objective is he wants everyone to drive electric cars. So if he has to help other automakers with the technology so that they could come on board, then that's what he wants.
Nice.
So and at the end of the day, you got technology.
Right.
You understand?
And to me, it's like real can recognize real. Real always recognize. But I have no problem sharing my thoughts, but it is. I read something recently. Tim Ferriss actually talked about it in his book too. Tools of the Titans is that sometimes you got to do that grunt work or be behind the scenes and raise people up just to raise everybody else up, and just pay dues later or whatever like that. That's kind of how I operate. And the thing is, between me and you, like the difference is like a recipe is a recipe. If you get that down packed, that's it. Especially more people in the creative industry, especially if you're individual. Every creator has a different process, and that process is harder to duplicate because everybody has different styles. So that's like not everybody would. Some people might skip a wireframe process or a sitemap process versus just hopping in just to do a website. I like to do it because it gives me more.
That was English just now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it because it gives me a broader understanding of a lot of different things. Some people like to take shortcuts, if you will, which a lot of copycatters. I mean, if for the essence of people who are copycatting just to do it direct, they're cutting corners. And where it hurts the copycatters is that they may have the checklist of what to do, but they don't learn. They don't get the learning from it, the hardships of why you're doing this in X, Y, and Z, and that could essentially put them more at risk when they fall into those potholes because they don't know how to respond or react.
Right.
What about potential entrepreneurs that want to get into business, but may see somebody else doing something? You have that moment, but I wanted to do that, and somebody else is doing it. How do you avoid, I guess, being a copycat in that situation or a carbon copy? Like, how do you avoid, like you say, other people are going to be in the industry once you start regardless, right?
What it is,
so how, as a potential entrepreneur, how do you avoid being a copycat?
What it is people say all the time, ain't nothing new under the sun.
Yep.
Especially these days.
Yep.
Almost everything has been done to this point.
If you have an idea, 1,000 people have an idea, and 10 people are willing to act.
I didn't invent cookies.
Nice.
Travis didn't invent websites. You didn't invent marketing. These things have already existed. So it's not necessarily you creating some whole new thing that didn't exist. It's you actually doing it in a way that has never been done.
You have to come in at a different angle.
Right. You have to do it in a way that has never been done.
Right.
So like I said, I didn't invent cookies. However, in this country,
It sure tastes like you did.
thank you, I appreciate that.
Shameless plug!
Yeah. I'll take it. So what it is I didn't invent cookies. However, there didn't exist the opportunity for people to custom design their cookies and have them baked the day of and delivered to them. So I didn't invent cookies, but I did it in a way that wasn't being done at the time, and it still isn't being done, outside of what I do. So it's not you actually inventing something new from scratch, but you could take something and put your own spin on it, or you could recognize, like say, you recognize a need or a demand or opportunity somewhere, and because like as simple as deliveries for certain items that never were delivered before, you create, you made it more convenient for people to purchase certain things. So that you're not really going to invent anything new. i.e. be a copycat, but you can put a spin on it to where it's a way that hasn't been explored as yet.
And as another way to be a copycat at the same thing. So like you might have an idea, and this kind of segues into okay, you had an idea, someone had the same idea, they did it before you did it, right? What I do in situations like that, or what I recommend is that, okay, especially if I want to do it more unique. So now I say, okay, one, I could watch this person and see the mistakes and all the things that may or may not occur. Two, I also look at, especially, or either if you still want to do it, or if you're currently in your business and figuring out how to innovate, look at things not necessarily related to your field that may be a business model that you could perpetuate
in your
thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
So, again, so when we were exploring the co-working model,
Yeah.
the basic model of that is that you pay for space for people come in and they do those things. And discovering how people were doing it around the world, like someone else did a co-working space model where the members of the space pay half and then they create content for the space.
Okay.
So it's different things. So it's different ways you could come at different things, and you may necessarily copy that. If you copy enough things that aren't necessarily related, you find that you make your own unique thing.
Right.
And then that's where the branding and all that stuff comes into it. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a lot more thought that you have to put into it, as opposed to just copy and pasting a business plan and just doing it from that.
Andre and Cranston, Andre said Facebook is an example of a copycat that made it better.
Yeah.
And Cranston said he was just about to say that about Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It
so-
wasn't an original idea.
Right.
Yeah.
It isn't. I mean, like MySpace was already out there. Friendster, for a lot of people who don't even know Friendster, they were
Social media.
Yeah,
Platforms,
social
yeah.
media platforms. But with Facebook, they did it. They did it a
it
different
better.
way.
Right.
The
ironic
he was
thing
more
was-
intelligent, but I mean, like he had more skill to do it, but he had more of a strategy towards it.
And I think he was more in tune to what people
Right.
wanted. He
Right.
knew what they wanted before they knew they wanted it.
Right.
You know what I
They
mean?
know people were going to do it. It's like
Right.
that aha moment, if you will, in terms of how to make this different from everything
And
else.
ironically, I feel as though starting Facebook, he wasn't on the same idea, I guess, as High Five and
Right.
and MySpace, but it has become
A whole different
almost
organism.
a copy of that and more. Because if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be college students. It was supposed to be exclusive, and stuff
Yeah,
like
it
that.
was, yeah.
And now it's like
Over
Yeah, it's turned into this
worldwide,
whole
which
new
I'm not sure
machine.
as he started out or
He
they
didn't
started
envision
out
that, I
that
can
this was
assure
the
that.
vision for the product.
But
so,
even Facebook today is still copycatting,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
looking at what they're doing with like
And I know
taking
that's-
everything
Snap.
from Snapchat
Yeah.
to Instagram.
totally, totally.
But then what you find is like they're still doing it their own way in a sense because they're playing in different fields in different markets and using it in different ways. Like recently, probably yesterday, Medium, which is a blogging platform, announced their own version of a Snapchat thing for their stories. So you could actually take blog posts in like a format and like add video images and all that stuff, and you tap to learn more about the stories.
Yeah.
And you can say they copied it too, but they made it their own.
Yeah,
their
and now
own particular
stories
thing.
is a thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not Snapchat
Even
stories
WhatsApp
or
of it
whatever.
now.
WhatsApp, Instagram. I think all
Yeah.
these platforms now have stories. So stories aren't, in my eyes, stories isn't even exclusive to Snapchat in the sense that it's a product in and of itself.
Right.
No.
That other people are copying.
Right.
So
So now again, put it in the position of okay, Facebook copycatted, right?
Yeah.
They're the bigger, badder platform.
like you
now
say,
it's
more
on,
resources.
right? But now it's on Snapchat now to be smarter and think of how do we still stay in this game and not go out
Yeah,
of it. It's
right.
the ball now is back in Snapchat's court in order to come up with something
So
differently
does
or to innovate.
Snapchat come up with something different, or do they just let that
Well,
fizzle? Do they watch it? Like
we don't know. We tend to see like they just filed for IPO today, $17
yeah.
a share.
Oh, really?
So they just got some more money in. So I mean, the
But
next
I
move
think
is to
they're
think
gonna
about how to
have
be differently.
Yeah, I think
because
they're going to have to innovate in some way.
they have to innovate. You have to.
They would get crushed.
They have to.
They would get crushed. If they just did nothing, they'll get crushed.
okay.
So I think they're going to have to innovate. But Stephen Delabo says developers are typically close-knit and tend to help each other out because of complexity. This is why GitHub, Stack, and Overflow exist. So I guess
Exactly.
that's on what you're saying when it comes to
Yeah,
sharing.
and those things are just platforms where people publish and share code and discuss those things to help people out because they realize that if you put out what you're thinking, people could build. It's open source culture, so people could build on it, and then you find you help the whole community because someone has made this solution and done this thing or fill in this need, because everything rises from that way, and that's why we're so close knit. And it's still a good philosophy that everybody should do in their particular things. Now it'll have, obviously code is a high barrier to entry,
right?
Versus selling phone card. But
Only dissing the phone card seller.
No, I ain't dissing the phone card. It's just now that you can't just copy it and expect to be a millionaire because someone coming out, you got to think about it differently.
Yeah, makes sense.
Hi, Drina.
Andre says open source encourages improvement.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, agreed that it does.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Bridget.
Yeah, Betty, we got plenty comments today.
Any more comments?
Yeah, man, plenty comments.
So yeah, in terms of competition, let's say, okay, we have all of these people in the industry. We have all these people that are, doing the same thing that you do. And I think we've used the analogy before, like, let's say your passion is basketball, right? So not necessarily that you have to be a basketball or NBA player, but then you can also do, let's say, therapy for basketball players. Or if you have a niche, you could do social media marketing for a basketball team. Or you could be a mascot. Or, all these different things.
I got this J-Do.
I don't know
I
what
got
to
this
tell
J-Boy.
you. I don't know what to tell you.
Alan Wallace said, creativity is the gift that keeps on giving. And that's the same thing that you have to be creative. You have to create. And I don't know if we talked about this before, but like a lot of people put creatives in a separate box when I believe everybody is creative.
Yes, I believe
because
so.
creativity to me is that how do you think about a problem differently, and how do you how do you do that? Like
anything, not even just a problem.
If your door handle is broke, how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna fix it? Glue, rubber band, all those different things. It's just how you solve that problem, and it isn't to like one particular class. Though a lot of
so
people
rather than copying, let's say you're MUA, right, makeup artist, right? Let's say instead of
like this makeup artist,
that make makeup.
I'm just saying, or social media marketer, or whatever people.
No, I mean like how you
copying
using
now,
the it's just
MUA.
It sounds so.
I just look at it.
But
You
let's
gotta
say,
come with different styles,
right? So that's what I'm saying. Okay, instead of being MUA, maybe you could design your own makeup line, like Greg was saying, or you could have trade shows or social fairs that bring makeup artists together, or you can do workshops or arrange for professionals or experts in the field to have a forum to educate other people. Like you don't have to do what people are doing.
Right. You don't have to beat face.
Yeah.
That's what you always call it, right? And that's what you call it?
You don't have to beat.
You don't have to beat face. Yeah. That's what you have to say. My face beat.
Yeah.
There's enough. Just like we said, there's enough unique opportunities out there for everybody, and your unique opportunity might be a goal landmine. But you have to stay on your toes, because once you break that seal, other people are going to come as well. So how do you keep differentiating your market? Again, let's look at the fast food industry.
Yeah,
that is a business model that has been duplicated over numerous amount of times. But then you have fast, like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A chooses not to open on Sundays for religious reasons.
Okay.
But they they don't open on Sundays because everybody going to church or whatever like that.
Right.
Buddy, I was selling chicken, buddy.
But the thing is that unique proposition hasn't affected the
their
quality of their food and they're like delivering to their audience and their market.
Yeah.
Like if you look at these fast food restaurants now too, it's like every 2 or 3 months they have to come up with a new burger, they have to do a new thing, or they get left in the dust. You always have to continue to innovate.
Yeah.
And the thing about them, with such high customer turnover, like people going in and coming out, like you have to stay on your toes, because if you get slacks 1 minute, your segment of the market goes to somewhere else. So you have to keep that fire in the ass.
I saw an article talking about Starbucks the other day, and basically they were trying to do a happy hour thing with alcohol after work to try to get people to come in. And people weren't responding to it as they thought that they would. Because for them, Starbucks is like, okay, you come in to get coffee. It's a safe space maybe to work. You have free Wi-Fi. Everything in Starbucks is catered to giving you a certain impression or creating a certain space for you to feel comfortable and do certain things. So the alcohol part didn't really fit into, what it was that they had created. And so they moved on to ice cream, right? Okay. And they're testing that now to see what the response is for that. But the whole thing is that you have this model, you're selling coffee, you have to innovate in some way
you have to try
to
new
get
things.
to get people
And
to
don't
come
be
on
afraid to
board.
try new things. Some things are going to work and some things won't. Because I just watched a documentary on McDonald's because of the movie or the founder. I mean, I fall asleep during it, but I actually went on YouTube and I looked for the actual story, and it was a nice.
With Ray Kroc,
yeah, with Ray Kroc, nice documentary, and you would be surprised at the things that they actually tried and tested, but it just didn't work out. And they asked the executive chef, well, what happened? He's like, sometimes some stuff just don't work.
Even things that you don't even
that's a
think
reality?
about, because like if you go to McDonald's, right, you join a line, like you pick a register to stand in front of, whereas Wendy's did the funnel where everybody would join one line and then you go to different registers. Like even these little things differentiated the fast food business or those businesses from each other. Yes. So even those small things, you can do things a bit differently, even though you're doing sort of the same thing.
Right.
Try to differentiate what you're doing from somebody else.
Right. Awesome. Well, that's good. We do that's more than 30 minutes. We can wrap this up, Gail.
Alrighty. Well,
awesome.
thank you very
Thank
much
you guys.
for joining
that was a
us.
pretty
We
dope
appreciate
episode.
you. Hopefully you got some good information today.
Yeah, these episodes feel like 5 minutes, but
Yeah, it's going so fast.
yeah.
No copying.
No, but
Come on,
no. But stuff
No
like this,
copying.
like in terms of the essence of like podcasting, and like you have people, like a lot of entrepreneurs or things are popping up right now, like entrepreneurial events or workshops and stuff like that. All that is fine because that helps the whole
Yes,
community
the
grow.
collective.
And if
Yes.
people want to do podcasts, like do it,
podcasts.
do a
Put the
podcast.
content out
Like
there.
that's the only way. Copying it and figuring out how to make it your own is better than not doing anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Andre said I'm going to copy.
Yeah, then copy.
Just a heads up.
And like you said,
you could-
Andre just started a entrepreneurial
The
group,
network,
the
yes.
network. Awesome, because that's a different set of community
Right.
people that could get inspiration, and you might find out it might niche out into a different thing.
Yeah.
But I am that's like dope. That's dope. And we need more
the
people
good
to do
thing
it.
is,
Yeah.
if you do decide, I guess, to mimic somebody, like reach out to them. Maybe they could help you. That's really all.
You may be able to do
know?
a partnership. That
And remember,
And
you
just
can
have
do
a huge meetup where everybody comes in, and then
A
we
super
get more
meetup.
investors and everything happening like that. You got to
never
keep
know.
doing it.
you
Everybody.
can do what I do, but you can't do it like me.
Shameless plug. I
And
think
so
everybody
we
got a shameless plug today. Yeah.
And so we end with Greg's quote. Hey, Greg, say it.
Losers make excuses. Winners make adjustments. Stop making all these excuses and stop teething people out there, man. At
My
least do
Lord.
it a different way. Don't do the exact same thing. Please.
All
Thank
right.
you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Alan Wallace says, great show. Thank you, Alan. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank
Always
you
a
all
pleasure.
very much.
We love you guys. Please
Bye.
share the video. Plenty of y'all watch this one. Please share it. Share it for all your friends so they can learn something
Yeah.
and they can come up with their original ideas. And even if they have the same idea, you all may be able to work on it.
Yeah, man.
Travis been saying, rising tides.
Raises all ships.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's work together. Let's do big things and let's build this country. Thank you, folks.
Bye.
It's the after show. It's the after show. Yeah.